line ahead of time that is a guide for you. So I'm just lightly kind of drawing out a line, which is going to be the guide for the top part. And I want the bottom part, the very tip of my blade, to be running along the bottom edge. So that's your 45-degree angle. And as long as I keep this at that angle,
You will do it all the way.
Yeah, I can see.
yeah, or at least the sides that I'm attached. Yeah, the 3 sides. Right, and then I do the top.
The top you will not double it, yeah?
You will eventually, so it's up to you. Yeah. We forgot to record it.
I'm recording you now.
No. Hi. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Do you want to keep going or?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
Here you can. Do you want to just put it down and?
For something, you scratch it something when you.
Yeah, I just use like a blade or one of these.
So how do you use this one? This one when you do it like in the bubbling?
Yeah, I mean, it's just more. It's a lot of the same thing. It's just doing it more at once, like 5 times at once. So.
Time saver tool.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a tool laying around here that's like perfect for this. I don't know where it went.
I thought I saw it in the glazing room earlier.
Oh, well, maybe
The brush with
yeah.
Yeah.
So those are specifically for scoring.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you can use for these little coils inside. You can use this clay as long as it's soft enough to roll, or you can use fresh clay. Yeah. But,
Each side has to have that cut,
yes.
but it depends on the side, right? Like, does it have to be opposite?
No, all inside of the box. Right? Because if you think about it, this is then going to sit. I want this piece, which I haven't beveled yet, to fit into here. And the reason we do that is see how nicely the edges meet if you bevel both of those, because it doesn't have like a weird joint down here and then another edge here. Because if I didn't bevel and I just attached like this, it has that look. Okay. Versus a crisp like joint that.
So the top piece you don't need to bubble it, yeah?
So which one side you got cut?
So put the bevel. The best thing to do is take what you want on the outside, turn it upside down, and then do this 45-degree cut on the inside.
Okay, and it's the same degree all the way around?
Yes.
Oh,
As long as you're making a box. If
Yeah.
you're not making a box, it's a little different.
For
Yeah.
some reason, I thought it was like if you would do like this angle for that one, and the other end you would do like the opposite angle, and then it would.
Well, yeah, like before when we had, when we were working in the round, like with a cylinder, we would bevel this side to 45 degrees, right? And then flip it over and bevel that side. Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, the opposite.
The opposites are for when you take it and you want to connect it like that,
Oh.
right?
That's what I was getting
Do you need
confused
to
with.
bubble the top
That's what
side?
you're confused with.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so
that's
that's that joint.
Okay.
Yeah, versus if we're taking it and actually just meeting the, like along the edge.
Okay.
Then it's, you want this to be a 45-degree. Think of like a picture frame, right?
Okay.
They have that 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I have a question. The lid, you supposed to be bubbled too?
everything's beveled.
This one,
Yeah,
Except for the top part.
Okay.
you got it.
it will eventually be beveled.
Oh.
You will do it.
I was just saying, everything will get beveled.
Yeah, everything you bevel.
But
That's it.
if you might find, because this is the first time you've done it, that these won't be level and
Okay.
even. So you have an opportunity to level them out
And then.
and then bevel it and then bevel that too. And put them both beveled together.
Okay.
So
So I guess I'm just gonna think that all of them have to be the same.
everything's beveled.
Everything.
Everything's beveled.
Okay.
Bevel it all. Do you want any more information on this video?
Yeah, okay. Oh, you're doing it too?
Oh, you are? Oh.
Yeah, so beveling all the edges, start with the bottom and work up the sides. So do one side first and don't score them all at once, score it as you go. And I just used water. You can use slip too, and you can always create slip by just taking bone dry clay and watering it down. But here I'll do another edge. So I'm just using a serrated rib, but I would suggest either using your needle tool or an X-Acto blade to score your clay. The trick with doing this is keeping your clay evenly wet and doing it at the right time. The clay is the right consistency when it holds its shape, but still has a little bit of bend to it. This is kind of perfect, this one here, because I can stand it upright, I can put pressure on it, and it's not going to sag and flop. You know, it's too hard when you bend it, it cracks. Like at this point, it would just snap. That's way too hard. That's called chocolate hard. And that's too hard because at that point, it's a lot harder to join things. So, I mean, you definitely can, but I'm like looking at both cases. You definitely can join it at that point. It's just a little bit more compression and pressure. And then we want to reinforce all of our seams with this little coil. And first, just use your finger to compress the baby coil into the seams. The smaller the coil, the less like muck there is to clean up, right? And the less there is to smooth. And then I take like the end of a wooden tool or really any object to kind of smooth it out and blend it in. So that is that idea. And you can get a pretty seamless look. So that you can see here, this edge, I have not put a coil in yet, and the slick has kind of oozed out of it. This one I have put a coil in. This one I'm in the process of smearing in. So smear the coil in 2 directions. You want to work pretty gingerly. The clay is hard at this point, but you can still move these walls if you push hard enough. And we're trying to, the objective of this is to have the more crisp kind of joints. And this, once you learn this you can hand build in this way, but you can also use this in sculpture. If you want something like you're building a house or a building or anything geometrical, working with hard slabs is the trick to do. So it's really liberating to learn it, but it's also this is a very technical process. It's timing and knowing how to handle the clay. So you can see there's a little bit of room there. That's okay. I'm fine with that. Be careful not to muck up your edge. So if you are scoring, and notice I'm holding like this whole piece, right? If you are scoring, work more towards the inner side and try not to cut through the actual slab. And add either slip or water. I'm just repeating everything. I like using these because you can like scoop up water with it. And then I want to, whoops, I need to bevel this piece still. Beveling, if you want to kind of draw out a line ahead of time, about, what is that?
Maybe an eighth of an inch.
Yeah, less than a quarter, a fifth.
Yeah, like an eighth, like piece. Yeah.
You can use that as like a guide for cutting it, but I'm making sure the tip of my blade is kind of meeting the other corner. To the best that I can get it there. So there's a little bit of wiggle room. Like it's not perfect. That's okay. It's still clay. We can still kind of mush it together. So.
It's so crazy how you can get the edges so exact.
That's fun. Yeah, if you like precision, this is should be in your tool house.
Yeah. This part is what I always have trouble with.
Yeah, so I'm still looking at my edges, making sure they line up. And I'm lightly tacking it down first. Everywhere. and then I'll come back. And you can even at this point, right, you can flip it. Whoop. Right?
Yikes.
I mean, if I let this go, it would flop.
Yeah.
So,
So when you slip and score, do you need, does it like always need to like, for both pieces that you're connecting, do you need to bevel both pieces?
yeah.
You have to bevel both. so
If
that
you
they
want
meet.
this like super like crisp
Yeah.
corner, yes.
Okay.
It's
But you don't like, it's not necessary to attach the pieces together.
no, as long as it's flipped and scored, yeah, they probably would work out. Now I didn't bevel this ahead of time, that's fine, I can do it while it's on the piece. I'm just gonna,
It's just easier to do it when it's off.
because I've just gotten used to that motion, so this is now a new language for me, the act of cutting it down. I'll try my best though, I'm watching the outside edge here, I'm trying to track that my blade is following the outside edge, and if anything, a little bit inward, because you can always come back and... All right, that's good enough. But I'm gonna put some coils in first.
Okay. All right, I'll stop
Thank
this
you.
unless there's anything else.
Oh, that's good, thank you.
Okay.
So, to put lids on,
No more tequila.
yeah, I need it. It is Friday.
Just so you know, you're in the shot if you. Okay.
So we are basically making an enclosed box first before we put the bevel, or before we put the lid on. And when I say put the lid on, that's kind of a funny thing to say because you're actually cutting the lid out. And I put all those pictures up on, drew all those cross sections of pots with lids because I'm going to show you one way, but you can, if you can imagine how to do it other ways and you want to, you're more than welcome to. So here we go. I've already kind of flipped and scored this up, but
You're sticking the lid on.
yes, I'm making a box. You'll see. Trust me. Hopeful. I don't know if you trust me. But, okay. So I'm putting the top on. I've cleaned up my edges, but I'm going to cut this open again, and I'll have another opportunity to put coils on these edges.
I know what you want to do.
You know what's happening?
I got
Yeah.
it now.
All right.
You wanna
so-
cut?
Yeah.
Make it even.
So
So smart.
smart. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm not the first person to do this.
This is the same way that woodworkers build boxes.
Yes. Yeah. And see, it's a little off. That's okay. I'm going to just smudge it in place. That's why it's nice having a little bit of plasticity still. But really compressing my edges. I've already kind of run my finger along these other seams on the outside. But what you do is, once you get it, you feel like it's pretty compressed and in the right place. Paying attention to detail. A little bit of water on my finger. I'm just gonna close up that seam. Yeah. A little bit of water. Not a lot. A little bit of compression. Trying to keep this as crisp as possible. And now it's a brick. These little nuggets all over your table will kind of mark up your pot, so clearing them out of the way is nice. And I'm using my other finger kind of just as a guide for the finger that's pushing. Okay, that is good enough. So now I can make all of these lid decisions. What do I want? You could at this point like cut a hole here, like much like
Like a
this
tissue
one.
box or something.
Like this kind of lid, right? Where I could cut a hole here, and then that might be actually an inverse. You could use a completely separate piece of clay, but what I want it to demo is I'm gonna cut along the edge here. Now to get a nice even cut, you could come with some sort of measurement and actually mark out how high you want it to be.
Maybe the center, maybe we'll just cut it from here.
Do you want a ruler?
And then the measure.
Yeah, let me just cut another. This will be my height. So I'm going to use that as my height, and I'm going to go around and just kind of put little marks. I'm shaking because I'm rushing.
Maybe the ruler. We can trace with the ruler.
Yes, you could trace with the ruler then. But I just want to mark out along the edge how high I want it to be. But one of the options is actually not caring about the levelness of your piece. And that actually is one way to, you can just kind of cut an arbitrary line. And that helps it sit in the right spot. I do suggest that before you remove your lid, you actually do put in a little notch that kind of tells you how the lid fits back on the piece. Luckily, I have texture, just 3 different kinds of texture, none, this and this. So really there's only 2 options for how this is gonna fit on here. But if you have a square, it's nice to kind of know that. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna take your time and actually do this as cleanly as you can.
Using this part too, right now?
Yeah, so that's called a flange. And I can use my hand. You could use actually a ruler and like hold it up and cut it properly. Thank you. How about that? Why not do it this way? You can just turn it. I have my markings. And I might just draw the line in first. Do you want to have good jokes? No, I'm the word I like tell the punchline first.
I just like that, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's so fun.
Okay, now this last one I can smash up these 2.
You basically just did the length of the ruler.
Oh, you're right. How about that? Okay, now I'm going to cut all the way through. Whoop.
So is this the way of making the lid, or can we do
This
like
is
separate without attaching?
You can do it separately, but
More work.
it's more work.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This is a
More
quick,
time.
fun
Mhm.
way to do it. That's like this is like a capped lid, which is pretty.
This is like a cheating.
Beginner, let's say beginner.
No, it's resourceful. It's not cheating. There's no cheating.
You like the easy speaking.
Okay, this might. I don't want it to fall apart. But... Okay. Hi. Thank you. So now
Yay!
Wow,
comes off.
it's magic.
Magic.
I just
Boom.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And I have the opportunity to
Wow.
do the coils in the top here, right, and compress those edges. But to get this little, where'd that little box go? This guy.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah. Now I'm gonna just roll out, and you can choose to do it on the top or on the bottom. But this is your flange. It's what holds it in place, right? So it doesn't slide off and fall off. So you can use your scraps that you already have, or you can roll out a fresh coil. But I'll adhere either on the bottom part or the top part, that flange. And so that's how the box stays on without sliding off. So I'm gonna keep working on that if anyone wants to stick around and watch. I got an applause. But if you need to go back and do it,
So can we leave it like this, or
so you don't want to leave it. That's number 1. If you just left it like that, if you wanted to, you could have. Number 2 is see how it's cut just on an angle.
okay.
So you could do that, and it will.
Which one are we doing? Number
I'm doing
So-
number 6. 6. Yeah.
Meredith is
Well,
looking
no,
at
it's
her
not on
diagram
there,
on the
actually.
board. I'm going to include in this video. She has done Shiloh High, just so you know. I'm just including these different examples. Oh God, as I step on her stuff. Okay, so different examples of ways to lid. I'm sorry, I almost stepped on
don't
your
worry.
thing. Different lid examples that she has put up on the board for us. So you can see how little different lid configurations fit. Okay.
Now, after attaching together, cutting, so it's gonna be part of like this part's gonna be texture, which is a should I do lid texture?
I'm not sure if I understand what you're saying, but what's nice about doing it this way is this texture matches up. And it's kind of like this flow of
Yes.
texture up
So
above.
mine is gonna be like texture,
And then that.
this side, and then the top of the lid, there's no texture.
That's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
that's, as long as you know that that's what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you were saying you want it to do like, you actually probably want number 3.
Do you want anything
Oh,
else?
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.